This video introduces you to the SiteBoss line of site controller products from Asentria. This is a high-level overview which orients you to the various products in this product line and their primary differences. Other videos will be focusing on the more in-depth details and capabilities belonging to each of these individual products. In this video, we're going to keep it at a high level to get you started. The SiteBoss product line consists of 5 main product tiers. The larger products may be somewhat more advanced and the smaller products less advanced, primarily because the larger products provide more hardware features and capabilities. However, each of these different product tiers also have specific hardware and software features which make them ideal for specific types of monitoring applications, which we will describe to you for each different product. The 5 product tiers are the SiteBoss 571, the SiteBoss 550 and 530, the SiteBoss 450 and 430, the SiteBoss 350 and 330, and the SiteBoss 220. The best place to start is our most popular product tier, the SiteBoss 550 and 530 site controllers. Both of these products utilize the same hardware platform. Their differences are solely software-based. You will also find this same basic versus advanced feature differentiation in the 450 and 430 models and the 350 and 330 models. The 530 is our basic generic controller model. This model is targeted toward what would typically be called RTU applications, such as contact closure monitoring, analog sensor inputs, wireless cell modems, integration with SNMP managers, and basic alarming capabilities. The 550 is the same product, but with additional software capabilities, such as secure cryptography, user scripting, IP camera integration, IP port forwarding, RFID access controller support, fuel level monitoring, generator management, and on from there. The 550 is a highly advanced site controller tool, giving you a wide selection of capabilities for remote site monitoring. One of the main features in particular of the 530 and 550 product lines is their support for a variety of I/O expansion cards designed by Asentria. In this fashion, the 550 and 530 units can be custom configured to suit your specific site I/O and communication needs. Asentria manufactures a wide variety of I/O and communication expansion cards for these products, which will be examined more closely in another video. Because some applications require more I/O than others, both the 530 and the 550 products come in 2 sizes. The 550-2 has 2 expansion slots and the 550-6 has 6 expansion slots. This is the same for the 530 model as well. Except for 2 slots or 6 slots, all of the hardware descriptions I give you here for the 550 apply to the 530 models as well. Let's examine these products more closely. The front panels of the 550-2 and -6 units contain some basic status LEDs for power and operational conditions. And then there are another set of LEDs, 1 bank for each slot contained on the unit. Typically, an LED for a given slot will light up if there is an alarm condition on that designated input. The base I/O built into the 550-2 unit starts with 2 serial RS-232 ports, I/O1 and I/O2. I/O2 doubles as a console port for talking to the 550's command line interface. The 550 also has 2 built-in Ethernet ports. Ethernet 1 is the primary port, typically used for connectivity, and Ethernet 2 can be used for a local LAN, port forwarding pass-through, or other applications. Next to these ports, a set of dip switches allows for unit configuration options. A slot below the dip switches supports an MMC memory card that can be used for software upgrades and some mass storage features where IP cameras are used. A sensor port allows connection of external Asentria sensor peripherals and expansion units, all of which we will cover in detail in a later video. The 550 also supports an optional onboard dial-up modem. Above the base I/O, you can see 2 expansion slots. In this example, they are filled by an I/O card and a wireless modem. The 550 default power input requires an AC wall transformer, providing 50 volts DC, which we supply. In this example, the 550 is also outfitted with a power supply option, which supports 24 or 48 volt power input. The 550-6 is identical to the -2 unit we just described, except that it has 6 expansion slots. Here you can see more I/O cards, a wireless modem, and also a 4-port serial card. In a nutshell, that covers the basics of the 550 and 530 product tier. The 550 and 530 models are our most generic controllers, supporting most of the basic and advanced features we offer, but with hardware which is not specifically tailored for any particular environment or application. The next several products we will cover have many similarities to the 550 and 530 product models, except that their hardware and software are additionally tailored for specific environments and applications. The first product to cover is the S571. The S571 is the successor to a previous model which we no longer offer, the S570. The SiteBoss 571 is intended to co-locate in a BTS cabinet or shelter, allowing you to remotely monitor, control, and manage all the activities and active and passive infrastructure located at that BTS site in order to keep it operational and optimized. The 571 has hardware controls on both its front and back sides. The front side is very similar to the 550 we just went over, but it does add some specific newer features needed for this specialized purpose. 12 built-in serial ports allow you to manage radios and power supplies via their console interfaces. A dedicated console port is also available for management of the 571 itself. Like the 550 hardware, 2 Ethernet ports are available. A sensor port exists for connection of external Asentria sensor peripherals, and there is an MMC card slot for upgrades and mass storage. 4 USB ports are provided, mainly for interfacing to equipment where the consoles are USB-based. A small I/O connector provides some dedicated contact inputs, and on the far right side there are 2 expansion slots to support expansion, I/O, and communication cards. Especially in this instance, a cell modem for out-of-band access to the controller when your in-band connectivity has failed. Lastly, over on the left-hand side, there is an expansion bay which can host an AI-SG antenna controller interface, again very useful in the BTS type application. The backside of the S571 is a full-featured intelligent power distribution unit supporting a bulk power input and 9 individually controllable and fused 10-amp outputs. An optional expansion card adds either 3 more 10-amp outputs or a single 30-amp controllable output. There are a number of 571 software-specific features which are useful in remote management of your BTS sites, but these will be focused on in another video. The SiteBoss 571 is an advanced and full-featured site controller for 48-volt environments where active and passive monitoring and control are vital to reduce truck rolls and ensure uptime at your remote sites. The next SiteBoss product to cover is the SiteBoss 450 and 430 line. Like the 550, these products share the same hardware and are differentiated by supporting either basic or advanced software features, all of which will be covered in detail in a later video. The 450 has been optimized for use in typically smaller BTS sites, where a specific and defined set of sensor functions are needed. The 450 supports 2 serial ports, 1 Ethernet port, 2 USB ports, and 4 sensor ports which can support connection of external Asentria sensor and expansion peripherals. The 450 has an optional power supply for 24 or 48 volt power input. As part of that optional supply, there is a volted output bus for powering low current sensors like smoke detectors, current sensors, fuel sensors, and other powered sensor products. The I/O bus above the main board contains 10 I/O points, which are customized in several popular configurations for contact, voltage, 4 to 20 milliamp inputs, resistive inputs, or relay outputs. The current 450 supports 10 I/O points, but an upcoming revision will support a second mezzanine I/O board for a total of 20 I/O inputs. The backside of the 450 has a default 15-volt DC power input provided by our wall power supply, and also the cell modem antenna connector. Unlike the 571, there is no power distribution unit as part of the 450 hardware. There are a number of hardware and software features which make the 450 and 430 an excellent choice for your smaller BTS site monitoring, but these features will be focused on in another video. The SiteBoss 450 is an advanced and tailored site controller product for small to medium BTS site monitoring, where monitoring and control of passive site infrastructure is a priority, helping to reduce truck rolls and ensuring uptime at your remote sites. The next SiteBoss product to cover is the SiteBoss 350 and 330 product line. This family of products is targeted for, among other things, generator and vehicle monitoring applications, particularly mobile generator units. The 350 is equipped to monitor fuel level sensors and battery levels, plus a few other digital or analog inputs which provide status on generator function and health. The 350 has an optional cellular modem, which provides not only wireless network connectivity to the unit, but also mobile GPS coordinates to assist in generator and vehicle location tracking. The backside of the 350 holds an input power jack and two RF antenna connections for the cell and GPS antennas. The 350 runs on 10 to 28 volts DC and can run in a 48 volt environment with an additional power converter. The 350 has a highly optimized sleep mode, which allows it to wake up frequently or occasionally to check in with the network center and to send its GPS coordinates, allowing the 350 to cause only a minimal drain on a generator battery. If the generator or the vehicle moves, an internal accelerometer can wake up the 350 so it can send immediate notice and coordinates to the network center. Like the 550 and the 450, the 350 is the model with advanced software features and capabilities, with the 330 model having the more basic but still very useful RTU features. All of the products previously mentioned are based on a largely common embedded software application running on top of an embedded Linux operating system. The SiteBoss 220, however, is our low-end, non-Linux-based RTU product, designed for fairly low-end simple monitoring applications. The 220's front panel has a few operational status LEDs and also 8 alarm LEDs which indicate an alarm condition on one of its 8 I/O inputs. You can see these 8 inputs on the back side of the 220. There is also an Ethernet port, a sensor port with support for 2 external Asentria sensor peripherals, dip switches for controlling a few product options, and a power supply input. The SiteBoss 220 is our low-end standalone monitoring RTU platform with specific I/O configurations and basic software features which are covered in more detail in another video. This covers the Asentria product line with one minor exception. The SiteBoss 410 was the precursor to the SiteBoss 420 site controller developed by Asentria some years ago. We still have about 800 of these units in stock, and if you need a basic but very functional monitoring unit that can read contact inputs and send SNMP traps, then the SiteBoss 410 might be just what you're looking for. This concludes our overview of the Asentria line of SiteBoss remote site controllers. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please see the other videos covering the Asentria line of external sensors and expansion peripherals, our line of expansion slot I/O and communication cards, and the individual videos covering each of these specific site controllers in more detail.